Okay, let's go over samples and surveys. So, first of all, what's a sample? Well, before we identify a sample, we have to identify the population. So, the population is the total group of people or a group of whatever it is that we're looking at that are in what we want to analyze. So, for example, if we're talking about high school seniors, and we want to see where they want to go for their school trip, then if we want to get an idea of where everyone wants to go, then the population is high school seniors. But if we want to get an idea of where everyone wants to go, we probably don't want to interview every single high school senior, because that could be 1,200 of them or 2,000. So instead, we want to just look at a part of the group. Okay, that part of the group is called the sample. So it'll be a lot easier and a lot more efficient if we maybe only interview 10% of everybody, and then if we pick the group nicely, we could assume that that 10% would share the same opinion as the entire group of high school seniors. So it's very important that we pick this sample wisely. So let's think of another type of population. Let's say that you write for a fitness blog. And you want to know what article would be best to write next. So in order to figure that out, you want to know what the reader's like. So the entire population that you're curious about or concerned with would be the readers of the blog. Okay, but the number of readers of the blog could vary greatly day to day. It could be, from 100 to 10,000 readers. And you don't want to interview every single person because it might be annoying to them, and also it might be too much data. There's no reason to go through all that information. So you want to just take a part of the group and that will be your sample. But again, you want to make sure you choose a sample wisely in order to get a good representation of all of the readers. Now let's go to something called bias. So different groups of people tend to have different opinions, and just like individuals have different opinions. So if you want to get a good representation of a group, you want to make sure that you cover the entire group, not certain sectors of the group. So let's look at the examples we just spoke about. So let's say the high school trip. So it would make sense that if you asked the football team where they want to go, they might say a football game. If you asked the students that are in theater where they want to go, they may say a play. And other groups will have different opinions. So you don't want to focus your group or your sample on just one group of people. The sample should represent the entire population. So it's not going to be the entire population. We're not going to ask every single student, but we wanted to represent everyone in that population. So how do you do that? What you want to do is some type of random sampling. So maybe every 5th student who enters school. Okay, you do not want to just ask students at the gym. You wouldn't ask students at the library. You wouldn't ask students who were in theater. Okay, but every student has to enter school. So if you ask every 5th student who enters school, then you have a very random sampling of all the students. Not every student has to go to the gym or is at the gym. Not every student is going to go to the library. And not every student is going to go to the theater. So if you choose something that everyone takes part in, such as entering school or entering the cafeteria, that'll be a random sampling. Now let's do the same thing for your article for the blog. So we want it to be the next fitness article. That's the question. What should it be? So again, the population is going to be everyone who visits the blog. That's our population. Okay, but the people who go to the visitors who read the fitness part that has to do with yoga will probably want an article on yoga because they appear to like it. They're reading the yoga page. If there's a weightlifting section and they're reading a weightlifting article, they'll obviously be biased towards that. And let's see, maybe there's just one about eating well, or a section on eating well and articles already on eating well. Visitors who are reading this article will probably be interested in similar articles. But since you wanted to get the opinion of the entire population of people who come to this blog, it'll be best to have the survey on the main page, because this way there are no biases built in. Anybody could be on the main page. So not just people who want to read about yoga, weightlifting, or eating well. Everybody will be on the main page. And what you could do is maybe have the survey show up for only a couple of hours. Maybe it shows up to every other visitor. Or maybe it's only on for 5 minutes at a time at random parts of the day. this way you cover everyone who goes to the blog without actually interviewing every single person who goes to the blog.